Hello everybody, it is I, Clawmaster, and one of the things I want to say is I am sorry for not making a new video in such a long time, and it is something that life has gotten in the way, as well as other personal projects that need to be taken care of. Now, one of the things I want to discuss is this is a new video, and I'm super excited to make a new one because it's been a long time. Going over episode 5 of the mini-series I did 2 months ago regarding the debut that was going to happen but was cancelled for lore purposes. But I also want to say as an update in terms of where exactly am I at. I keep talking about the debut of me entering the scene with my model and everything of that sort. Well, I'm happy to say my model I do have. I just got it recently, and I'm in the midst of rigging it so I can get that prepared. I still got some stuff left to do in order for me to feel comfortably ready to debut, but basically I am getting stuff ready, and I am going to hopefully in the future. I can't put a timetable when I will debut, but when I do, I will let you all know when exactly. In the meantime, when the model is finished and rigged, and I still got work to do, then my plan is to just make videos with my VTuber model, which all of you will see one day, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm still debating on that as well. So you'll see some sort of content from me one way or another. But just know that the model I have is in the process of being rigged, on top of other things I have planned for my debut. Because one of the big things I want to do with this is to come in with a bang and just make a huge impression, because that's one of the things I'm really striving for, that I really want to do. Also, you might have noticed there are subtitles beneath me right now, and thanks to a friend of mine, I've actually enabled closed captionings in my videos. I used to just do it through another website, through Capwing, to subtitle my videos, but now I have this enabled. It may not actually be perfect, but it'll be easy for me to actually showcase what I'm talking about without having to go back and edit the words back in. Although I probably will have to edit this anyways, because there's probably maybe one or two things I want to show with the mix of pictures or other videos of my inspirations for this video. But with all that being said, let's cut into the action. Let's cut into the clip regarding my thoughts and process on episode 5 of the online miniseries, the debut that never happened. Alright, I am back, and this episode, I'm talking about episode 5 of the online miniseries I did in, I think at this point, to remind those who were kind of following along the storyline I was setting up, was that June 18th was the day I was going to debut. For other reasons, I could not and had to delay it. This whole storyline that I was setting up with these videos online was that I am planning this, or Clawmaster is planning this debut with his mentor Eli, and he's going through the process and steps and how to make that happen. At the same time, the villain of this universe has been keeping an eye on Clawmaster and has left cryptic messages or just self-thoughts of what he plans to do against Clawmaster if he tries to debut, or if he tries to do this or that. And the idea with this episode 5, because we've had one episode where the villain was introduced, you didn't see him but you heard his voice, and he was making a threat to Clawmaster, saying you can't do this, basically. And we didn't have another villain episode ever since then, because every other episode was character development of Clawmaster and Eli, and also like a little more details regarding, you know, Clawmaster's armor and how that worked. So in regards to the villain of the piece, which I don't think I have a name for him yet, actually. he exists in the story. I have the story written out, but I don't have a name for him yet, which I'll have to figure out later down the road before everything is debuted. But with the evil villain in this story, I needed something like a because it was only going to last for 6 episodes, I should say. And one of the things that I needed to do was reintroduce the villain, because people might have forgotten, or in this storyline, it's like, hey, it'd be kind of weird to have him just show up once and then at the very end, it's like, oh, I'm a thing, by the way, because there has to be some sort of episode or some sort of thing to show that the villain exists in this world, and he is not just there because he's there for the purposes of ending the story, if that makes any sense. So with this episode, I had to think, okay, so we're going to have another villain episode, and what direction am I going to go with this? So I had given some thought. I've given some thought in regards to what exactly I wanted to do with this, and I think one of the inspirations for this was when I'm thinking of evil villains or evil, I would say, masterminds as well, is but villains of this nature when it comes to movies, comics, games, anime, is that some of them are like very demented. Some of them are like really just inside their own head, and sometimes they would like to read or have this self gratification of this. I am doing this for this purpose, and I am doing it because I feel this is right, and I feel like this is, to me, the only way to change. So in regards to that, this episode was basically another internal monologue, but much more creepier than the first time around. And this time around, what I end up doing was I end up actually going the route of creepy, of like mysterious, which you actually see on screen. The horns, that is a model, but it's not an official model that I end up are going to use. I actually looked around to see what kind of model I want to just shadow, or to just give an idea of like there's somebody in the clouds like just standing there. And one of the ideas was going to face rig and using that demon model that they have in there, and I ended up using that, green screened him, and then just make sure that he's completely covered in black, so that you just see the shadow of him, but you don't actually see him. He is not what is going to be the final villain in this whole main story. I have another idea as far as like how I want to approach that. But in regards to using this for this video, I think it was like, for now, okay. I don't think anybody's going to go in there or be sad, or it's like, hey, this isn't the thing I want. So it's definitely a model that was not used, or is not going to be used, but I just needed something to show, hey, he is lurking in the shadows, quite literally, in this video. I did like the idea of having, because usually I would have subtitles and they would be at the bottom, or they would be somewhere on screen, and I usually, most of the time, I would do that for my videos when it came to the online series. But this time around, I want to take a much, again, the idea is creepy. The idea of this whole piece is a villain being very creepy, very making you scared type of deal. And with the text, I wanted to also foreshadow that, or what's the word we're looking for? Like I wanted to reflect that same idea. Much of this is, you know, if you look at other horror movies, you have similar things happen when it comes to trailers, when it comes to videos, that there is creepy footage in the background, like a cemetery or like a swing by itself going back and forth. But you see like this, either you hear the words from a demented child or you see subtitles on the screen. And sometimes it's no words at all. Sometimes there will be no voiceover. It's just the words and the creepy music. So that I went in that direction, and I feel like in terms of how I felt like it produced or how it looked on screen, it looks good. I think that the creepy text definitely encompasses that creepy feeling of what's happening, and as far as like what the video is describing. So I think in this direction, when it came to this villain, which I have a vague idea of who he is, that I'm still kind of figuring out what exactly he is, but having him talk about, or having him basically cite out a poem, like this entire video of him speaking, like those words that he's using is not him specifically, but it's well, from what he's saying, like it's not him specifically talking about what his inner monologue is thinking, but it is very much like a poem. Oh, I said like a poem. It is a poem. I basically read a poem, a creepy poem that I felt like would fit this video and would fit the character, and it worked out well. I think that it comes across pretty well. I like the fact that at the very end, you know, you see Clawmaster, and the question is like, you know, if you kill the real monsters at the very end, you know, who's really is the real monster? Which is another story point I could go in that direction when it comes to the characters. And I kind of like that idea, or like that question he throws out there, because that's something that a person of this magnitude, a villain of this magnitude, would think about, in terms of like if a villain is trying to convey his thoughts and he's reading a poem, but he also wants to declare against Clawmaster, hey, I'm doing what I feel is right, and if you're not seeing it the way I see it, and maybe that what you see is wrong, and that maybe you're the monster, I'm not. Which is something really cool, and something kind of really puts it on his head in terms of like, oh, maybe he's not as bad as people think. So I like that idea. I like that the poem I picked out. I do not have the name or the person who wrote it. I'm so sorry. I will have to find it out later. But it was a good poem, and it was definitely fitting for this. As far as the background footage is, like, I did some minor tweaks when it came to some of this stuff, which I will show you guys here in a second. I do have a Premiere Pro opened up, so I can show you what that looks like behind the scenes, video editing wise. But not much else in terms of the motivation, in terms of the, what's the word looking for? Not the motivation, but like in terms of the thought process behind this video. And to put it simply, the TLDR of this video, of making this, basically, evil villain, make it creepy poem, lead into the debut and Clawmaster at the very end. Done. So yeah, that is something that is I think felt like it came together pretty well. So with that being said, let me switch over to Premiere Pro real quick and show what I did behind the scenes through the video editing aspect. And I am back, this time with the video editing section of my video. Now I got both Premiere Pro and After Effects loaded, so I can actually show you guys what I did. But for this one, I actually did most of it in Premiere Pro. Most often than not, when it comes to, because I use a lot of special effects in my videos, so I am more inclined to use After Effects than I would use Premiere Pro. But in this case, I actually end up using Premiere Pro. Now, some of this footage that you see on screen, let me actually make this a bit bigger. Again, I'm subscribed to a website that gives me free footage that I pay for, and this came in a clutch when it came to making this video. One of the things that I did was some of this footage that you see is really dark, and that's on purpose because prior it wasn't. Let me go ahead and see. Let's see if I can go ahead and undo. There we go. Yeah. So prime example, this footage, clear as day. It is daylight. It is obviously much more brighter than what is seen. But what I did is that above my head is what you called Lumetri Color. And that darkens the hell out of the video. Or in video editing terms, crush the blacks. I played around with the settings regarding how I felt needed to get this color nighttime, and in terms of how I felt about it, I felt like it came out pretty well. And for me, it was basically just playing around and see how it looks and toying around with that idea. And I believe that was kind of the same case for everything else. This one, yep, same thing. It's basically the editing, the lighting is what I did mostly in this video, in these clips. I believe this one, let's see, yeah, it is also that. Okay, cool, yeah. So basically did that. This model, actually, let me show you. So I told you guys before that I ended up using a model from FaceRig that wanted to use as some mysterious evil demon in the background, being that person or being that thing that is imposing that evilness danger to Clawmaster. Well, if I took out, let's see, we take out the brightness, take out the luminary. There you go. That's what he looks like. Let me go ahead and actually go and put this on full. There we go. That's what he looks like. And that is the model from FaceRig that I end up using. And if we actually go ahead and, because all I did honestly was just move like left to right. I didn't do anything much regarding no speech in terms of the model. I just needed something in the background that would just kind of be there and look menacing in the dark. So that's what happened. That's what that is exactly what ended up being the thing, which is pretty cool. Now the text you don't see because I didn't do the text here in Premiere Pro, but I did do them in After Effects. So for the text, for those who are wondering, let me go ahead and grab this. So the text that I end up getting, let's see if I can go ahead and affect some prefix. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna do this. Paragraph was set to center. Let me see, where the hell? Where is the, oh, character. Okay, there we go. So the text I got was Chomp. I think it's not installed in Adobe After Effects, I believe. I don't think it's a default font, so I have to go and get it online. But it was Chomp, right? CHAWP. And in regards to the effect I end up using with these texts, so let's see. So one of the things I do want to point out is that sorry, crony. Yes, I have notifications of VTubers on my YouTube. But in regards to these glowing effects, so one of the things I want to first start off is that I end up using a text animation for this, and just because you see it slowly unveil itself letter by letter, essentially. So that what I end up using is called, I animated that with opacity. Went to animator and basically messed with the start and end times and offset, so that whenever this is revealed is when that opacity will take its animation place. And if you want to see what that looks like, that line, let me go ahead and put this more. So this line is what's hidden because the text is already there. The text is already done. It's just the process of this animation within this text format will unveil itself. So you have one, this is the ender, this is the start. And I just simply made a keyframe at the start and one at the end. Also, if you are using After Effects and want to do the same idea like this, I suggest using the range selector, which one you're using, set it to 100%. Because if you don't have that and you did this, you actually get the reverse. So keep it 100%. But outside of that, in terms of this color wise, like you see it kind of glowing. That's on purpose. And I did two things. One, I'd made sure that the outer glow was set to a reddish color, almost like a pink. Now I'll go ahead and click this. If you're wondering, I set it to hashtag FFA7A7. And I toyed around with the settings. So in this case, I made the size 93%. I made the opacity 75%. I set it to screen, single color. And I made the range 53.6. It's a range where I felt it did pretty well in terms of the effect. In terms of the color wise, I believe that color is actually white. Yes, it is. So this text, while it looks red, actually the glow is red. The text itself is white. And if I go here and take off the glow, is white. So yeah. So that's pretty much the text the text over the footage. This is in the TikTok version, I believe. Yeah, the TikTok version. So that just wondering why the aspect ratio is a little weird. But I felt like this entire video came out pretty well. I think that it definitely eludes creepiness. It definitely eludes the idea of like the villain is here. He is definitely here, and he is watching and just waiting for his opportunity to get at Clawmaster when he gets a chance to, and he's monologuing this poem that he's thinking of, or that he is saying out loud. Whatever the case he might be thinking. And stereotypical villain stuff, because most stereotypical villains are up their own ass, and usually are the ones who think they're high and mighty, or usually think that they are gods per se. Like the entire storyline, again, I keep saying this because I want to make it clear, this entire season 1 of Clawmaster, when it eventually happens and debuts, like this is going to be a very simple storyline. I'm not doing anything complicated. This is just a setup for what's to come in the future. And when it happens, it's going to be cool. I have so many ideas I want to do when it comes to incorporating storylines, because with this opens up so many things in regards to what, in my mind, season 1. And this is me saying this because of somebody who's made this story already and who's need to make some tweaks. Now I'm thinking about it to some other things to the story to make sure it also makes sense. But I like the direction this is going. Again, I like the idea of diving more into the lore of my VTuber model and character, and I want to explore that section of the scene much more than before. And I like to do that for now just by myself and my characters I have. But in the future, season 2 and whatnot, and 3, or how long I end up doing it, I want to definitely open that up to much more than just myself, and I'll leave it at that. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure the subtitles were pretty okay. As I'm looking at the subtitles, some of the things that were on screen was not representative of what it actually said, so keep that in mind. This is some new tech, but also makes my job a little bit easier, so I don't have to go in and edit it in the video every time. I can just simply record it and hit go. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next week I'll have another video, and if it is, it's going to be in the last video I did, and I'll explain the process behind the season finale of the online miniseries of Clawmaster not having a debut because of evil villain. But yeah, more video content to come after that, whether it be silly or anything else I can think of while I'm still working on my own stuff for the debut in the future. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.